My top 10 tips to help you become an amazing guitarist continues. Next up is tip number 6, master scales. Scales. I have to admit, when I looked at my top 10 list this morning and saw that today's topic is about mastering scales, I was not overly enthusiastic about this. Some guitarists love scales in theory, while others are less enthusiastic. I'm less enthusiastic. But scales are an important tool of my trade. You don't need to love your hammer to be a good carpenter. The same holds true with scales. Spoiler alert, next week's topic is learn to improvise lead guitar, and that's not going to happen without understanding the pentatonic scale. This simple scale provides the framework for lead guitar. So briefly, here's the strategy. Begin with the 5 pentatonic scale patterns. There are only 5 notes in each pattern, and they are the same 5 notes, no halftones. The pentatonic scale can be used as the melodic foundation of any composition. Rock and roll and blues stop being rock and roll and blues when you move beyond the simple pentatonic scale. Sure, the 7-note diatonic scale can be used over blues progressions, but the melody of this more complex scale isn't authentic blues. Blues is the basis for rock and roll and classic rock. Hard rock and metal are typically influenced by classical music, which is associated with more complex scales like the diatonic scale. To master the pentatonic scale, you need to learn all 5 positions and be able to move them up and down the neck to change keys. Don't just practice the scale. Practice the scale while playing over chord progressions. Introduce licks, shapes, sequences, and arpeggios from the scale so your composition is melodic. Practicing scales over chord progressions is much more fun than just running through them with a metronome. Even so, a metronome has its place too. Some practice time needs to be allotted to repetition so you're able to play scales automatically. Once the pentatonic scale is mastered, the next step is to add the 2 half steps to all 5 patterns to form the more complex diatonic scale. This scale will open up many doors. The diatonic scale is 7 different modes that use the same 5 patterns, fingering, and notes. A simple trick will allow you to quickly expand to unlimited possibilities and endless choices.